Hello everyone and welcome to FC Bytes. A few days after the meeting between Joan Laporta and the agent of Erling Haaland, new information has been leaked to the press, including details on what was discussed and Haaland's team's preference. So let's go through it. The meeting was arranged right after Laporta became the new president of Barcelona and he insisted to meet face to face. All the people involved in the meeting wanted to keep it secret to avoid tensions with Borussia Dortmund, but they were caught by the reporters at Barcelona airport. The father and agent of Haaland were picked up at the terminal by Eduard, a person very close to Laporta who took them to the meeting. Fun fact, in an attempt to disguise his travel intentions, Haaland's father locked himself inside the bathroom for more than 30 minutes, so reporters wouldn't record him next to Mino Raiola. They tried to leave the airport separately, but they were still caught by the reporters. Only 4 people were present in the meeting: Laporta and Alemany for Barcelona, and Mino Raiola and Haaland's father. During 2 hours, the 4 discussed Barcelona's interest in acquiring the player this summer, the role the player might play in the team, and what strategies they should follow. Mino Raiola confirmed that Haaland is very interested in playing for Barcelona next season, but he also mentioned that Barca was not the only team they were considering. Although Raiola was going to meet with multiple teams in the coming days, he claimed that Haaland's priority was to move to La Liga, either playing for Barcelona or Real Madrid. Even though Barcelona staff are very reluctant on discussing anything related to Haaland, sources close to the club confirm that they are increasingly confident on acquiring the player this summer. They feel that their main competition is Real Madrid, which besides Haaland is also seriously pursuing Mbappé and Alaba. Because Madrid seems to be scattered on multiple targets, they might not be able to go all in for the Norwegian striker. Another factor that might play a role this summer is the not particularly good relation between Mino Raiola and Florentino Perez. For instance, after the meeting with Laporta, Mino Raiola met with representatives of Real Madrid and Florentino Perez did not show up. So in summary, all these meetings were the initial contacts of more to come. Not numbers were discussed, instead both sides made their initial points and left the negotiations for the coming weeks. Haaland's future is going to be a long story with a lot of chapters. This summer's soap opera. We will have to wait and see. So in the meantime, if you enjoyed the video, smash the like button and subscribe. If you have any comment, write it down below, and see you next time. Hello everyone and welcome to FC Bytes. Summer is getting closer and Neymar is waiting. What a few months ago looked like a done deal, where Neymar was going to renew his contract and stay in Paris for at least another 5 years, has changed dramatically. After Laporta's return, Barca started preparing an operation that is going to be long, but might end up with Neymar back to Barcelona. The first move of this chess game have already started. Today we are going to review the current state of the transfer as well as the key points to make it a reality. First and most important, Neymar has decided not to sign a new contract. PSG is getting increasingly frustrated with Neymar's behavior, since they feel the player is stalling, delaying signing a contract that all the parts, including his agent, had already agreed on. PSG owners tried to pressure the player by leaking their interest on getting the new contract signed before the first Champions League game against Manchester City, which obviously didn't happen. Second, Laporta's arrival has changed everything. For instance, today was reported that he managed to convince some Barca lenders to provide more flexible conditions to return the borrowed money, so Barcelona can have more flexibility this summer in the transfer market. Laporta is also convincing Messi to stay with an exciting project and also extending his contract beyond his player career. Neymar is well aware of those changes and he has realized that if he wants to play next to Messi again, Barca might be the option. It is also worth remembering that Bartomeu and PSG owners had a very sour relation, and with the arrival of Laporta, Barca fans hope negotiations will be less personal and more professional. Third, Neymar's contract expires in 2022, therefore if he doesn't renew it, PSG will be forced to sell the player this summer. Barcelona is well aware of that and will push hard to get the player. My personal feeling is that we might see some player exchange where either Griezmann or Dembele, if he doesn't renew his contract with Barca, could be sent to Paris in exchange for Neymar. Fourth, Laporta is waiting the results of the auditory that an external consulting company is doing to Barca Finance to really understand the financial health of the club after the disastrous Bartomeu's presidency. Any decision is to be defined until those results are known. Once Laporta gets the report, Barcelona will start moving accordingly, initiating both negotiation talks with Messi to renew his contract and with any potential incoming players such as Neymar. So in summary, for the last 4 years, every summer we have had news about Neymar and his potential move to Barcelona. This year though, it feels different. This summer, he will be starting the last year of his contract and he will have all the strength. PSG cannot risk letting him leave for free in 2022, therefore they will have to negotiate. We have exciting weeks ahead, which we will continue covering in the channel. So as always, if you enjoyed these videos, smash the like button and subscribe. If you have any comment, please leave it down below and see you next time. Hello everyone and welcome to FC Bytes. It's not a secret that Ronald Koeman is pressuring Laporta and Mateu Alemany to get him Memphis Depay for the next season. The player is highly regarded by the coach because of his scoring ability and versatility. Moreover, staff working under Alemany have provided very favorable scouting reports about the striker. Well, news published by the newspaper Mundo Deportivo revealed that the player was in Barcelona last Wednesday, looking for a house for the coming season. Depay traveled to Barcelona with a group of friends and family members where they screened the housing market. One of those houses, by the way, was located in Pedralbes, one of the most expensive areas in Barcelona. The travel was short and he returned to Lyon within the same day. This information seems to confirm what most people suspect, that Memphis Depay will be playing for Barcelona the coming season. Sources within Barca confirm that they are very much interested in the player, but he has not signed yet. We should remember that the player agent was in Barcelona, meeting with Mateu Alemany a month ago. The issue, similarly to Eric Garcia's case, is that the player had reached an agreement with the previous president, Bartomeu, but after Laporta's arrival, Barcelona had reduced the offer due to the crisis. Even though Depay had received multiple offers from Juventus and Atletico de Madrid among others, he still focused on joining Barcelona. In another set of news, the Argentinian journalist Pollo Vignolo from ESPN assured today that Leo Messi will continue playing for Barcelona for another 2 years. We discussed in the channel a few days ago about the meeting between Laporta and Jorge Messi, father and agent of Leo. In that meeting, they set some starting points about Leo's potential new contract. Among the different ideas discussed, it was proposed that the player could sign a long-term contract such as 10 years, where Messi would play for Barca for another 2 years. Then he would have the opportunity to move to the US if he wanted, to play in the Major Soccer League, to later return to Barcelona in the office, either working with or under the football sport director. Reports coming from that meeting gave very positive feedback from both sides, but nothing was signed yet. Therefore, perhaps ESPN is jumping the gun here. So those were the news of today. Thank you very much for your attention. As always, if you enjoyed these videos, smash the like button and subscribe. If you have any comment, please write it down below, and see you next time. Hello everyone and welcome to FC Bytes. Mateu Alemany and his team are designing Barca's squad for the next season, and their main priority is to improve the team's offense. While most of the money will be used in a world-star player where the main two candidates are Neymar and Haaland, Barcelona is also looking to acquire another striker. The requirement for the second striker is that he comes as a free agent. Two players are on top of the list, Memphis Depay, who is a direct request from Koeman, and Sergio Aguero, who has already communicated that he will be leaving Manchester City this summer and is a very close friend of Messi. Both of them are reportedly crazy to move to Barcelona. Memphis Depay is the one who has received more offers, mainly from La Liga and Calcio teams. As we discussed a few days ago, Depay's agent was recently in Barcelona meeting with Mateu Alemany, Barcelona's sport director, to negotiate a potential contract. Although Barcelona would have a long list of competitors to obtain Depay, including Juventus, Inter de Milan and Atletico, Barca is Depay's priority. Furthermore, Koeman has a great relation with the striker that dates back to Ronald's time as a national coach of the Netherlands. The player has the total support of his former coach, However, not everybody within Barça technical direction is on board on acquiring Depay, at least according to reports from Spanish media. Nevertheless, it seems to be the strongest candidate in the list of free agent strikers, to the point that Calcio Mercato just reported that Juventus has given up on Depay since they feel he will move to Barcelona for sure, and Juventus is now focusing on other free agents, such as Calhanoglu from AC Milan. The alternative to Depay is Sergio Kun Agüero, who is highly interested in joining Barcelona and playing next to Messi. Even though he's open to reduce his current salary, this would be significantly higher than the one that Depay would receive. Barcelona sees Agüero as a striker coming out of the bench who might become a starting 11 if he stays healthy. The final move for any of them will have to wait until the auditory that an external consulting company is performing to Barcelona finance is complete. So those were the news of today. Thank you very much for your attention. As always, if you enjoyed these videos, smash the like button and subscribe. Let me know down below in the comments what's your preference, if you prefer Depay or Kun Agüero, and see you next time. Hello everyone and welcome to FC Bytes. We are in front of a critical moment regarding Neymar's future. What a few months ago seemed an easy renovation, where Neymar was going to sign a 5-year extension of his contract with PSG, did a U-turn after Laporta won the presidential elections. Joan Laporta brought fresh air to the club and slowly but steady started working on convincing Messi to stay. The performance of the team also improved, winning the Spanish Cup and challenging Atletico de Madrid for the league, which resulted on Messi changing his mind and seriously considering staying with Barca for another 2 years at least. Neymar is obsessed with playing next to Messi again, and knows that his friend is closer than ever on staying in Barcelona. Thus, Neymar has decided to postpone any decisions on his contract extension, even though all the parts, including his agent, had already agreed on the new contract conditions. Well, today the French newspaper L'Equipe published that Neymar will sign his new contract this Saturday. If this news were true, they would crush Barca's attempt to get the player for the coming season. Although L'Equipe is a highly reputed newspaper, we must be careful when judging this news, since it's not the first time that they report that Neymar is going to sign a new extension promptly, something that the last time did not happen. L'Equipe news contradict the one reported by José Álvarez. He's the journalist that weeks ago announced that Neymar was paralyzing any contract extension talks with PSG, waiting for Barca, while most of the French media was reporting that the agreement between the Brazilian star and PSG was a done deal. According to José Álvarez, Barca has been in talks with Neymar recently. They have told him that they are very interested in his return and they will pursue him this summer. However, they cannot make any move until the auditory that is being performed to Barcelona finances is concluded. The same news mentioned that Neymar was fully on board, saying that he's open to wait another year if necessary to return to Barcelona as a free agent. We will have to wait until tomorrow to see whether Neymar has changed his mind and is staying in Paris, or if these news from L'Equipe are once more incorrect. So these were the news of today. Thank you very much for your attention. As always, if you enjoyed these videos, smash the like button and subscribe. Let me know what you think about this potential return of Neymar in the comments down below, and see you next time. Hello everyone and welcome to FC Bytes. A storm is coming to Milan that might result in Lautaro Martinez being transferred to Barcelona. Inter de Milan won the Serie A last weekend after 11 years without winning the league. As the rest of European clubs though, Inter has a very compromised finances as a consequence of the crisis. According to the Italian newspaper Corriere della Sera, Inter will have to go through very severe measures to improve its current financial situation. One of those measures, for instance, will be a salary exemption for 2 months that the Inter is going to propose to the players in order to decrease the club expenses. Another measure would be selling some of the top paid members of the main squad. 2 of the names that have been mentioned by the newspaper are Lautaro Martinez and Alessandro Bastoni. As we know, Barcelona is trying to acquire a top striker for the next season. With all the eyeballs focused on Haaland, Barca has Lautaro Martinez as the main alternative to the Norwegian. Particularly considering Borussia Dortmund doesn't seem to be interested in selling Haaland, at least at the moment, and doesn't need to. Barcelona is going through a tough financial situation itself. However, Laporta recently secured a €500 million sponsorship that will help to improve Barca's main squad. In case you missed the news about the sponsorship deal, I will add the link of the video where I discuss it down below in the description. Barcelona interest in Lautaro Martinez is not new, and the player was very close on signing a deal with Barcelona last season. I wouldn't be surprised if Barcelona tries to go for the player even if the club manages to get Haaland, especially if Messi leaves. Lautaro Martinez is young, only 23, has good scoring skills, and can play both as main striker or as a second striker behind the centre forward, a role that he could play if Haaland was going to come to Barcelona. The following weeks will confirm whether Barcelona does a serious move for Lautaro or not. My gut feeling though is that he might be the dark horse in the coming transfer market for Barcelona. So these were the news of today. Thank you very much for your attention. As always, if you enjoyed these videos, smash the like button and subscribe. Let me know down below in the comment section what you think about Lautaro and his potential move to Barcelona, and see you next time. Hello everyone and welcome to FC Bytes. Barcelona is working non-stop on rebuilding next season's squad. The current crisis, combined with the disastrous presidency of Bartomeu, where money was overpaid for players that did not perform, have left the club with limited financial resources. Considering most of the budget for the next season's transfer market will be used to acquire a top striker, Barcelona directors are working on alternative ways to improve the team. One of those imaginative solutions is exchanging players with other clubs. We have seen some of those trading in previous season, like when Silesen was swapped for Neto or Arthur for Pjanic. Well, according to the radio station RAC 1, who usually has very good information regarding Barca, Juventus and Barcelona met a few weeks ago to discuss exchanging Pjanic and Betancourt. Hence, Pjanic would return to Juventus 1 year after leaving the Vecchia Señora, after failing to adjust to Barcelona playing style. He has been barely used by Koeman this season. Initially he used to come out of the bench, but in recent months that role has been taken by Ilaix. Regarding Betancourt, he's a defensive midfielder that has been followed by Barcelona for quite some time now. He's only 23 and would come to compete with Sergio Busquets for the starting position. The two clubs left the conversation open, waiting at the end of the season to be resumed. We should remember that Juventus is currently 5th in the Serie A. With only 3 games left, there is a real risk that Juve might not even qualify for next season's Champions League, which would put even more stress in its finance, forcing it to sell some of its main players. For instance, recent news have linked Cristiano Ronaldo to PSG, particularly if Mbappé leaves Paris this summer. Another Juventus player that has been in the news as a potential candidate to be transferred is De Ligt. The Dutch centre-back was close to sign with Barcelona 2 seasons ago, when he was playing for Ajax. At the end though, he decided to go to Turin, a decision that reportedly he is currently regretting. After 2 irregular seasons playing for Juve, the player represented by Mino Raiola, Haaland's agent, might leave Italy, and Barcelona is one of the main candidates to get the player. So these were the news of today. Thank you very much for your attention. As always, if you enjoyed the video, smash the like button and subscribe. Let me know down below what's your opinion about Betancourt and De Ligt, and see you next time. Hello everyone and welcome to FC Bytes. Barcelona and Atletico de Madrid would be open to exchange 2 of their stars, Griezmann and Joao Felix. At least according to the journalist Lluís Canut from the Spanish TV channel TV3, who is also very close friend to Ronald Koeman. The journalist reported that Atletico could be very interested in getting back Griezmann, who performed at his best under Cholo Simeone's direction, while Barcelona would acquire a young player with more future projection and significantly lower salary, in a moment that Barca is trying to decrease the squad salaries. Apparently this player exchange was already discussed by Barcelona a year ago, but back then Atletico turned it down. After 12 months, things have changed though. Griezmann has done a reasonably good season, while Joao Felix's year has been quite disappointing. It's worth noting that the transfer fee paid by both clubs in 2019 was similar, 120 million for Griezmann and 126 million for Joao Felix, which would facilitate an exchange similar to the one Barcelona and Juventus did between Arthur and Chani. Regarding their role in the current clubs, Griezmann and Joao Felix didn't reach the high expectations they initially created. For instance, Griezmann has been sitting on the bench in key games during the season, such as the games against Real Madrid. While in the case of Joao Felix, he was dismissed back in March by his own coach, who mentioned without will, talent by itself doesn't work. This week, Atlético de Madrid president Enrique Cerezo discussed in the radio station Cadena Ser about Griezmann's return. He mentioned, "I wish Griezmann returns, but I doubt Barcelona is willing to let him go." Regarding Joao Felix, he mentioned that the Portuguese was not for sale. Further information by the Spanish newspaper Mundo Deportivo brought some insight into the potential exchange. Atlético likes the idea of getting Griezmann back, but they doubt that it's financially viable since the striker is currently earning 20 million euros per year, a salary unachievable by the club. Hence, Atlético de Madrid board of directors are reluctant about the potential exchange, while their coach, Cholo Simeone, is all in for the return of Antoine. Lastly, a person who might play an important role in the potential player exchange would be Jorge Méndez, agent of Joao Felix, who has a great relation with Barcelona president Laporta. So these were the news of today. Thank you very much for your attention. As always, if you enjoyed the videos, smash the like button and subscribe. Let me know down below in the comment section what do you think about this potential exchange, and see you next time. Hello everyone and welcome to FC Bytes. Barca is fully focused on rebuilding its main squad, which has been in clear decline for the last years. Well, with the last game of the season behind us, we got the first news regarding an incoming player. According to the journalist Nicolo Chira from La Gazzetta dello Sport, Barcelona has finally signed Memphis Depay in a 3-year contract and will present the player when its current contract with Olympique de Lyon expires on June 30th. Both parts reached the final agreement and only the official announcement is missing. Memphis Depay will join Kun Agüero and Eric Garcia, who will also arrive as a free agent. Depay has been one of the main requests from Koeman, who has been very critical on the overall quality of the current squad. Depay will receive a salary of 5 million euros, which might increase depending on individual and team performance. In another set of news, Neto likely played his last game with Barcelona last Saturday. As we have been discussing in the channel, Barcelona wants to decrease the current salary table and give more chances to young players from the youth team, such as Iñaki Peña and Arnau Tenas. Barcelona managers expect to transfer Neto for around 12 million euros, and so far the club that has shown more interest is West Ham. The Premier League team has done a fantastic season, ending on the 6th position and qualifying for next season's Europa League. Because all its goalkeepers are extremely veterans, between 34 and 36 years, the East London club believes that they need a younger and solid goalkeeper to be covered in all positions, and Neto would fulfill that position. So these were the news of today. Thank you very much for your attention. As always, if you enjoyed the videos, smash the like button and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and see you next time. Hello everyone and welcome to FC Bytes. Now that the season is over, Barca is working non-stop on improving the main squad, which has been progressively losing quality during the last 4 years. Barcelona has already reached an agreement with Eric Garcia and Kun Agüero, who could be officially announced as new Barcelona players next Sunday after the Champions League final, where their team, Manchester City, will compete against Chelsea. Furthermore, Barca has either signed or is close to sign Memphis Depay. Information varies depending on the sources. Well, the newspaper Sport reported today that Barcelona representatives have recently met with another player whose contract expires this June, Wijnaldum. The agents of the international player were in Barcelona last week, where they discussed with Mateu Alemany and his team the potential move of the Dutch player to Barcelona. Wijnaldum has an offer from Bayern Munich, and 2 teams from the Premier League have also reached out to his agent. Barcelona's interest for the player dates back to the last season, when Bartomeu himself negotiated a potential transfer with Liverpool, which at the end didn't happen because of Barcelona's limited financial health. Since the arrival of Laporta though, Barca's pursuit for the player has cooled down, since the club would prefer a younger player. However, current transfer market doesn't offer many economical options in that position, the center midfield, and Barcelona might finally choose a safer option such as Wijnaldum. In any way, Barcelona will have to make its mind soon since the player wants to define his future before the Euro Cup, which will start as early as June. So these were the news of today. Thank you very much for your attention. As always, if you enjoyed the video, smash a like button and subscribe. Let me know down below in the comment section what you think about Wijnaldum and his potential arrival to Barcelona. Stay safe and see you next time. Hello everyone and welcome to FC Bytes. The arrival of Georgino Wijnaldum to Barcelona is accelerating, and he might become soon the fourth incoming player for Barca, after Eric Garcia, Kun Agüero and Memphis Depay. All of them will arrive as a free agent, allowing Barcelona to improve the current squad without paying a large transfer fee. This is such an opposing strategy compared to Bartomeu's, where transfer fees over 100 million euros were paid in multiple occasions for players that in many cases were not worth that money. Yesterday we discussed how Wijnaldum agents were in Barcelona a week ago to meet with Barcelona representative and talk about the future of the Dutch player whose contract with Liverpool ends this June. Well, today his agent, Humphrey Nishman, and his legal assessor, Jan Cabalt, were caught on camera by the press in Barca's office. According to the journalist Fabrizio Roman, Barcelona and Wijnaldum are negotiating a 3-year contract, and they would be very close on reaching a final agreement. This information has been further corroborated by the Dutch newspaper The Telegraph, not to be confused with the British newspaper, which also mentioned that the final agreement was expected to happen very soon. Although Wijnaldum has received offers from other continental giants such as Bayern Munich, the player is still very interested in joining Barca, and he has accepted decreasing his current salary in order to facilitate his arrival. In another set of news, it has been confirmed what we discussed in the channel a few weeks ago. UEFA has opened a sanctioning file to Barcelona, Real Madrid and Juventus regarding their role in the creation of the European Super League. In a press release, UEFA announced that more information will be revealed soon, and future sanctions are likely coming. These news are consistent with the latest public appearances of UEFA President Seferin, where he threatened with severe sanctions, including a 2-year ban, the clubs that remain attached to the European Super League project. We will have to wait and see how this evolves. So these were the news of today. Thank you very much for your attention. As always, if you enjoyed the videos, smash the like button and subscribe. Let me know your opinion about Wijnaldum in the comment section down below, and see you next time. Hello everyone and welcome to FC Bytes. So today Joan Laporta held his first press conference since he became Barcelona president. He reviewed the current state of the club and discussed some of the key points that he and his team are currently working on, including imminent signings, Messi renovation and Koeman's future. So in today's video I'm going to summarize the most important points of Laporta's press conference. So let's start. First, the first signings. So Laporta was very clear regarding starting a new project and rebuilding the main squad. He confirmed that they are focusing on improving the team, and next week the first signings will be announced. As we have been discussing, Laporta is waiting that Manchester City plays the Champions League final to officially announce the arrival of Eric Garcia and Kun Agüero. Furthermore, Wijnaldum is a done deal after his agents went to Barcelona offices yesterday, the third time in 10 days, to negotiate some minor points that were still missing. The fourth signing that might be announced next week is Depay, whose agent has been negotiating with Mateu Alemany, Barcelona's sport director, for the last weeks and is very close on reaching a final agreement. Second, Koeman and his potential replacements. So regarding Koeman's future, Laporta reassured his respect and admiration for Ronald, who is one of the all-time greats in Barca history. He confirmed that they met during the last week and agreed to wait 2 extra weeks before taking a final decision. He stated that they are considering many options and Koeman continuing as a main coach is not even discarded. Laporta also broke some news when he gave his good wishes to Ronald, who apparently had to go to the hospital last Friday after feeling unwell. We should remember that Koeman had a small heart attack a year ago while riding a bike, and since then he has been regularly checked by medical staff. Koeman is reportedly unhappy with Laporta's words since he wanted to keep the incident as a private matter. he published today a photo saying that he's healthy and well. At some point of the press conference, a Dutch journalist asked whether Koeman could continue, after being told by Laporta himself during their last meeting that he was not the preferred coach by Barça board of directors. After thinking for 6 seconds, Laporta simply answered yes and moved on to the next question. Laporta also discussed some of the potential candidates to replace Koeman that have been published in the media. He described Guardiola as his dream coach, but he didn't want to go into much details because he feared that will be published all over the news. When Laporta was asked about Xavi, he mentioned that he will be a great coach in the future, but he's still not there yet. In his opinion, next season is going to be extremely tough and very different from 2003 and 2008 when Laporta hired 2 rookie coaches, Rijkaard and Guardiola respectively, which ended up leading Barcelona to win 3 Champions Leagues. Third, Messi renovation. Laporta confirmed that they have already made an offer and described it as the best one they can do under the current circumstances. He added that he was optimistic regarding Messi's future, but it was not a done deal yet. After talking with Messi and his father, Laporta mentioned that the Argentinian star is excited with the current project. Fourth, rebuilding the current squad. Laporta and his team are talking with all the players. In his view, in previous seasons, the president and the board of directors were not setting performance requirements. If Barca lost, there was no consequences. Laporta emphasized a lot, "T centered. Under my presidency, losing has consequences. There are no transitional seasons. Barca must always compete to win." A worrying point that Laporta brought up was that the squad salaries were above the income of the club. Obviously, this has to change, and they will start by selling some players. Fifth, financial situation. Laporta gave an update on the auditory that an external consulting firm is performing to Barcelona finances. He mentioned that early reports show some concerning and shocking operations that they will have to address in the future. Laporta hinted that some of the news published regarding Barçagate, which ended up with the previous president Bartomeu in jail, are actually accurate, and more information will be provided when the auditory is concluded. 6. Spy Barça. Spy Barça is the process of rebuilding/upgrading Camp Nou and its surroundings, including building a new basketball arena. After the auditory is concluded, they will readjust the project accordingly, which could start as early as next year. He confirmed that Camp Nou will be closed for around 8 months, while the roof is being assembled. During that period, Barça will be playing in Barcelona Olympic Stadium in Montjuic. 7th, European Super League. Laporta and his team are still supporting the project, which eventually will happen. He confirmed that if UEFA sanctions Barça, they will take the case to the Court of Arbitration of Sport in Lausanne, where they are extremely confident any UEFA sanction will be shut down. So these were the news of today. Thank you very much for your attention. As always, if you enjoyed the video, smash the like button and subscribe. Let me know your opinion down below in the comment section, and see you next time. Hello everyone, and welcome to FC Bytes. Barcelona is focused on improving the current squad with free agents. As we have been discussing in the channel, one of the names on top of Barca's list is Sergio Kun Agüero, who will be leaving Manchester City after 10 years playing for the Citizens. Barcelona and Agüero reached a full agreement a few days ago, and the initial plan was for the player to sign his new contract with Barcelona the Monday after the Champions League final. However, according to the Spanish newspaper Mundo Deportivo, Agüero's arrival is conditional on Messi's staying with Barcelona. Since Leo's renovation is going well, but is not fully signed yet, Agüero might delay signing with Barca. Sources from the club mentioned that if Agüero was going to join Barcelona in the coming days, that would be an extremely good sign regarding Messi's renovation. Another Spanish newspaper, Sport, corroborated this news and expanded them. Agüero had indeed conditioned his signing with Barcelona to Messi renewing his contract. However, after some conversations behind the doors, Agüero is fully convinced now that Messi is staying with Barca and will finally sign his contract with Barcelona this Monday, after which he will travel to Buenos Aires to join the Argentinian national team. We will have to wait to Monday to see whether Agüero shows up. If he does, that would be a partial confirmation that Messi is staying. Another potential incoming player that seems to be putting pressure on Barcelona is Memphis Depay. The player is a direct request from Koeman, and he was already very close on joining Barcelona last season. Barca weak finance, though, jeopardized the operation. This summer, with Depay becoming a free agent, there are less obstacles. The player's agent has been negotiating with Mateu Alemany, Barcelona's sports director, for weeks, and depending on the sources, they are either close on reaching the final agreement or they already did. In a recent interview, Depay, who is currently focused on the Netherlands national team that will be competing in the Euro Cup this summer, has expressed his wish that Ronald Koeman stays in Barcelona. It's not a secret that they have a very close relation, and Koeman is one of the reasons Depay has chosen Barca over other clubs that were offering higher salary, such as Juventus. So these were the news of today. Thank you very much for your attention. As always, if you enjoy the videos, smash the like button and subscribe. Let me know down below in the comment section what's your opinion about all this situation, and see you next time. Hello everyone, and welcome to FC Bytes. Radical turn of events regarding the arrival of Georginio Wijnaldum to Barcelona. ESPN just broke the news that PSG is trying to sign the Dutch player, who will become a free agent this June. Wijnaldum agents had been 3 times in the last 10 days in Barcelona, finishing a 3-year deal with Barca. Even though there were a lot of competitors, including Bayern Munich, the player wanted to sign for Barcelona, where he would reunite with Koeman, former Dutch national coach. However, everything has changed in the recent hours after PSG made a more generous offer to the player, who seems to be leaning now towards the French club. Wijnaldum is 30 years old, and this is likely going to be his last big contract. The newspaper Mundo Deportivo has corroborated the news, reported by ESPN, providing further information from a source inside Barca. Apparently, Barcelona is well aware of the offer from PSG, and they are very pessimistic regarding signing the player. Another player that is being tempted by other clubs is Ilaix Moriba. The contract of the 18 years old is expiring next season, and 3 clubs from the Premier League are interested in signing him. According to the Daily Mail, Manchester City, Manchester United and Chelsea will try to acquire the player this summer if he doesn't extend his contract, since Barca would be forced to sell him to avoid losing him for free. Ilaix recently split with his agent, and the agency that is representing him now has a much higher salary demands, a fact that has not been well received by Barca directors. Lastly, there is a strong debate within Barcelona on who should be Ter Stegen's replacement. So far, Neto has had this role, however he's likely going to be sold this summer to a Premier League club. Part of Barca football direction is pushing for Iñaki Peña, the 22-year-old goalkeeper of the youth team, while another faction wants a well-established player. Some of the names Barcelona is considering are Gianluigi Donnarumma, Rui Silva, Marko Dimitrovic, Andrei Lunev and Thomas Backlick, since most of them will become free agents at the end of the month. The debate originates from whether it's worth to spend money on a player that is unlikely to play much. However, the other side of the argument is that if something happens to Ter Stegen, who we should remember is currently recovering from a surgery in his knee, then his replacement would have a key role in Barca's coming season. What's your opinion about this? Let me know in the comment section down below. So that was all for today. Thank you very much for your attention. As always, if you enjoyed the video, smash the like button and subscribe. See you next time.